So what do you favour?
Well, you know, it's a toolbox. I don't care. You put the tools in for the job, that's all.
Oh?
You know, I actually favor the old 1911.
45. Old gun.
Served my country well. Long time.
Hey everybody, it's Stranger Oddity Show coming back with you. Ronin. What a fantastic movie, starring Robert De Niro, and we also got Jean Reno, and I believe that's how you're pronouncing his name. Stalin Skarsgård, I believe I'm probably mispronouncing that. Sean Bean, the ultimate guy that's like in every movie, and he always gets either the wrong end of the stick, screwed over, or shortchanged. And it also has the young, lovely lady Natasha Mehoni, I believe, is in it, or that's how you pronounce her name. I know she's in it. Beautiful gal in this one. Ronin is it's John Frankenheimer directed it, and you know what? Let's go ahead and look this up because if I'm not mistaken, he is the one that directed The French Connection 2, which would make sense, and I'm almost positive that he is the director of The French Connection 2. Let me see here. We're not that. Yes, John Frankenheimer is. He's also the director of The French Connection 2. So, it's got, you know, when you see his films, he sadly passed away in 2002, it looks like. John Frankenheimer's movies are so, at least for me, you can really tell them apart. The French Connection 2, it stands as its own, and I've talked about that movie a lot. It's one of my favorites. But Ronin, this one, you know, I recall seeing this. I may have seen this actually in a theater when it came out. I believe so. 1998 is when it came out. I do recall seeing it right when it came out. You could almost say, was this one of De Niro's last really okay or decent action movie? But then, although I think 15 Minutes came out after it, 15 Minutes is also another good one that he did. So I'm kind of a fan of De Niro's early work. Of course, Taxi Driver being one of my favorites of all time. But Ronin has its own flavor. Ronin is a very European film, seeming to me. Of course, my opinion. A lot of gunplay, a lot of action in it, a lot of really cool different weaponry and everything like that. So I'll give you a brief description of what it says on the back. The Cold War may be over, but New World Order keeps a group of covert mercenaries employed by highest bidder. These operatives, known as Ronin. And what is Ronin? Ronin is a term that comes from Japan. And you can see the romance with the term and everything with me. Ronin is a samurai with no master. What a great, I love the phrase, love the word. It's so cool. I mean, you can just say it over and over again, and it just has a cool meaning. Ronin. Okay, so these operatives, known as Ronin, are assembled in France for a seemingly routine mission to steal a top secret briefcase. You know what? I'm gonna ruin it for you right now if you haven't seen the movie. You never know what's in the freaking briefcase. Okay, you just don't get it. You don't get to get that peek. Okay, all right. But the simple task soon proves as explosive as underworld organizations are after the same prize. Yes, so everybody's trying to get this briefcase. These fellows are hired, because of the, best of the best kind of thing, and they need to retrieve this briefcase. So it's, again, it's kind of filled with a lot of European actors, which is really neat. It's kind of and then of course you got Robert De Niro in the mix. So awesome stuff. And like I said, Frankenheimer, his whole, I guess his his approach to a lot of these movies. You know, like I said, especially with the French Connection 2. Yeah, that was just, you know, that was, again, that kind of remains as one of my favorites and everything. So, but yeah, here we are gathered around this somewhat of an early evening for another chat with you guys, and thanks for tuning into the show and everything like that. We do appreciate everybody that's been listening out there. So, he also done some of other Frankenheimer movies. He did Reindeer Games, and that one might be something that people are more familiar with. Reindeer Games with Gary Sinise, I want to say, is in it. But he did some other ones. He did, let's see here. I didn't know he did 52 Pickup, which is, if you're a Roy Scheider fan, that's another kind of one of those hidden Roy Scheider movies. I would have liked the movie better if Roy Scheider didn't have that strange hairdo in it. I'll just say that right now. Also, the beautiful Anne Margaret's in it, so that, you know, right there is a good enough reason to go see it, right? Anyway, he did another one with Roy Scheider called The Fourth War. And then he did do that one, that it's a remake, I believe, of The Island of Dr. Monroe with, that one's got Val Kilmer and Marlon Brando. Yeah. So you can see his movies, just from that short list, you know, his movies really stand differently. So Ronin, it's almost, you know, it almost has a flavor of James Bond. It almost has that flavor of James Bond because you get the beautiful background and atmosphere and everything of Europe. They're all over France. Fast car chases, really amazing shootouts. One of the things I always remembered, there was a shootout that happens in like a little market garden area, and you know, it's just kind of neat how they kind of go about all their little signals and ways. And so what De Niro does is he always uses a newspaper. So he's got the newspaper, and he kind of casually walks over, and he's like looking at some flowers. And what he does is he actually uses the newspaper to plant this distraction explosive device thing in one of the little flower beds. So it's kind of neat, and he goes back into the car, and you know, and if you watch this scene carefully, they got cotton balls in their ear, which is first time I've ever seen, you know, a movie that kind of really took it that far, where they know some action's about to take place, some stuff is about to trip off, so they kind of get prepared for it. So they're, you know, they got all this stuff, and then De Niro, of course, goes into his bag of goodies, and he breaks out this, and I, you know, of course, I'm not really a gun, you know, I can't identify every firearm out there, but he's got this looks like some kind of grenade launcher thing, and he puts the 2 grenades in it, and he gets that thing ready to go. And man, I tell you, that whole scene was just awesome, because there's like a build up to it, and you're just like, you're on the edge of your seat. You're like, wow, is this really going to happen, you know? And then of course there's a shootout in the tunnel scene that's really good. That's when they first attempt to buy some stuff. I think they're going there to buy some weapons or something like that. And of course Robert De Niro carries a 1911. Yeah. So he's got the 1911 throughout the thing, and you know what? Just let's actually do this, since we have the power of the way to look things up right here. Although I'm not very good at it, but I can make by. So I usually like to go to this thing called the Internet Movie Firearms Database, and let's see exactly what we have in this movie. What do we have featured? So, all right, first
the Smith & Wesson Performance Center.
Wow, that is loud. They have a little ad here. So, sorry about that. All right. So, the first one up is, looks like he's, in the beginning, De Niro is stashing a Colt M1911A1 in some kind of, looks like, what is that, like a crate or something? He's kind of putting it up. That's when he walks into that place and he goes, lady, I don't know, I don't ever walk into some place I don't know how to walk out of. So, let me get rid of this. That's so rude and abrupt that they play this little movie or some kind of clip or something like that plays before it. But there you see it. Looks like one of those Parkerized ones that were coming out, the 91 series. Looks like that's what he's got there. And at least he's got some kind of a decent grip on it. He's not, and then they actually show him firing it, and he doesn't seem to be flinching. So, interesting. And then later it looks like he's got a SIG 228. I'm not the biggest fan of SIG stuff, so I'm not familiar with their stuff. Jean Reno has got a Beretta 92 FS. He's got looks like the stainless steel version pretty much through the whole thing. And let's see what else they got. They got a 17L, a Glock long slide, really long. Look at that thing. It's like a sword. And he's got it, looks like he's got it all kind of mocked up with all this stuff. Looks like you got a Glock 19 in there, a Jericho 94 1FB compact. Again, these things are like, this is getting beyond what I know. A 6-hour P239, another SIG. And what a surprise, they're using a whole bunch of, European kind of guns in this. A Beretta Cougar, never even heard of that. That looks like a hybrid of what we know today as the PX4 Storm. A Taurus PT 94.5, interesting. I guess one of the other bad guys has it. Look, he's got him. He pulls it off of the one guy in the car when he disarms the guy when he's what's his name, Gregor, and that's the character played by Skarsgård. He's sitting there and he gets it out of his jacket, and he's like, he goes, well, is this just a social call or something? And then I think the guy who breaks out with another gun, he goes, this is a major strip. So, Walther P5. I do know what that is because that's what's used by Roger Moore in Octopussy. That's a great, another great James Bond film. And remember I said it has a James Bond feel to it? Well, that's cool. They have a P5, Walther P5. Really unique firearm. You know what it looks like? It looks like so much like a hybrid of a P38, but just different. So looks like one of the goons has that. Again, another Beretta 92 FS. Taurus PT 92, probably because those are cheaper to obtain and everything. So SIG 229, Beretta 93R, which is just a machine pistol, MP5. Another MP5, Beretta PM12S. Again, it looks like the SWAT guys or somebody has those. An Uzi, mini Uzi, Scorpion. You got some. Again, it's more of these SIG rifles and stuff. Let's see, where is that? Where is that very interesting firearm that De Niro has? Oh, here it is. Okay. It's an H&K, and it's called a 69A1. What is this thing? It's a 40 millimeter grenade launcher. It's exactly what you kind of think it is. Yeah, that's what he's got. Very interesting. Now, I thought they showed him with cotton balls in his ears. I know you see that in the movie, and I'm looking at the scenes here. It doesn't seem like he has any cotton balls in his ears or anything like that. So, but anyway, it's a fast-paced movie. Some people like it, some people don't, and I understand where you're coming from with that, because it is kind of one of those films. It's like it is one of those, like, I can see how you either like it or you don't. Me, I like the film. I do like the film. It's like it's a European type action movie. It does have that feel to it. So it does. It's out on Blu-ray. I do have the Blu-ray variant of it. I think there's also like a really super limited edition by Arrow releasing on it that's out there. But again, that's kind of expensive, so it really isn't. I wouldn't spend a whole bunch of money on this movie because it's going to be, it's either, if you haven't seen it, it's either going to appeal to you or it's not. I do know a lot of people that don't like the movie, so I just kind of keep that in mind when you're searching around for it. It is so it's rated R. According to the rating here, it's got strong violence and some language. So. And nothing that I recall is too over the top, aside from the scene where De Niro performs a little self-surgery on himself. And then, of course, it has that infamous stupid line of, he goes, "Oh, that guy sprayed his bullets with Teflon. That's how come it went through the vest." And it's just, so it takes a little, some of that stupid myths and dumb things that were flying around on the market and all that. And so it does have that going for it. All right. So, let's see. Moving on, and I know some of you guys are going, wait a minute. If you've been keeping up with the show and you've been keeping up with my other channel and stuff like that, you're probably going, wait a minute, this is are you fooling us here, Batjack, or Stranger Oddities? Batjack is the other channel. What are we talking about here? So let's see. We're gonna go in. I'm gonna click on the last radio episode that we had, and we're gonna go through it. Okay. The last time we got together, we were talking about the Ronin 1911. Yes, the Springfield Armory Ronin 1911. I threw this movie in the beginning just to kind of make things interesting. Let's put it that way. Okay. So Joe P, we're going to read some comments here. Joe P is tuned in here, and he says, almost bought a Springfield EMP a couple of years ago, which is the compact 1911 style in 9mm. Ended up with the Car PM9 instead. All right. So now I did look at those EMPs. Those are pretty nice. Again, I was never. This is the first time really I've kind of turned a corner and come around to the aluminum frame 1911. I was one of those guys that was always under the impression that the thing was just going to fall apart. Like you would shoot a box of ammo and probably break it. So yeah, as stupid and as ignorant as that is, that was once something I believed. All right. But yeah, Springfield Armory has made quite a few 1911s. This is the first Springfield Armory 1911 I've ever owned, and I will say this right now: it's super impressive, very impressive. Although y'all know my favorite brand of 1911, I have to tell you that I think this Springfield Ronin has them beat a little bit. There's some things on it that are just really, it's hard to kind of turn your eye away from it. So, Evie Saint. Okay, I got some comments from my friend Evie here. All right. You have got, his comment starts, you have me looking into a Colt 9mm lightweight commander. I have looked at those too, so you're not alone. All right. Also, the 9mm Defender, which my buddy, I carry one, does have one of those. I've looked at it. I actually have a video of it. I just have not published it out, so I'll have to do that. Now I have to check out the Springfield Armory and the Ronin. Okay, Evie Saint, we're going to stop right there. Yes, do check out the Ronin. Seriously, give the Ronin some thought, because I'm telling you, I'm glad I did. It is a fantastic shooting firearm. I love it. Mine is, of course, the commander size lightweight frame in 9mm. I know, and some people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. But yes, I did. It's so smooth. It's so nice. It shoots like a dream. I ran it through a little bit recently. I kind of ran through a couple of boxes of ammunition with it, and it is really just wonderful. I really do like it. It shoots just really well. I like the way it performs, so I'm very happy with it. I'm glad I kind of made that choice because it's something different. So it's very different. I like it. If you're, like you say here in your thing, you said, I'll be watching out for your video on the Ronin. Yes, I'll get that published out here soon. He said now having a couple of Browning high powers, which yes, the Browning high power is certainly for me, I always refer to that as my mistress when it comes to the 1911 stuff. So, all right. You had you're lucky. You have one from 1944 in English. That's Canadian, I believe. Those are really nice. And yeah, you're right. He says you're right about them being a top 9mm mountain. Yeah, well, thank you. I think so. I think they're definitely up there. All right, and then he has to add, dang, when I watch and listen to one of your videos, or 1957 Sheps, or Craig at Lion Quest Fitness, always seem to come away with a good case of the want that's. Want and that's. Oh, I appreciate the kind compliments there. Good people, good people. Shep is an awesome guy. Craig over at Lion Quest Fitness, he's an awesome dude. I love the old stuff, man. I love the old stuff. There's nothing wrong with the modern things, but there's just something about wheel guns, 1911s, and high powers, man. And that's kind of why I started the whole channel, the Bat Jack JW channel. I thought, man, there's got to be somebody else out there that likes the same stuff and is just sick and tired of looking at everything modern. I mean, again, nothing wrong with it. It's just not my taste, not something I like. So, but yeah, the Ronin was it's definitely it's a good choice, I think. I like it. I really like mine so far. It was not easy to find. I had to actually purchase mine online and get it sent to a friend of mine that has an FFL. So I did have to do that. It wasn't something I was able to walk in someplace and purchase, although that is my preferred method. I do like doing that. I'm not much of an online kind of purchasing guy, so I still like to go into the old shop and do it the old-fashioned way. But in this case, it was not easy to find. I just couldn't find one and locate it and get one. So that's the way this one had to work out. But anyway, yeah, so far I really like it. I think and again, Ken Hackathorn and Larry Vickers, they were very instrumental in me making the decision on a lightweight Commander in 9mm, because that package, I'm going to tell you this right now, there is something about that package. When you got that 1911 Commander size 9mm in a lightweight frame, you really do have the best of a lot of things. And of course, my occupation, what I do is, I'm required to carry a firearm and qualify with it once a month. This thing definitely serves that purpose. It's very easy to carry. It's very lightweight. Now, I'm going to tell you some things that I changed out so far on mine. Now, there's going to be probably some other things I'm going to change out, but so far right now, there's some things that I did change, both cosmetically and something else for lightweight. Now, I'm sure you've heard the terms and stuff being tossed around the 1911 world when it comes to the mainspring housing. The mainspring housing, their Colt got a lot of slack for making some out of polymer and outfitting a lot of their 1911s with a polymer mainspring housing. Yes. Okay. Now, I built, if you guys know or don't know, I built a lightweight 22 out of an aluminum frame, 1911 and everything, with a aluminum slide conversion unit for a 22 LR. I kind of came up with that whole thing for one of my 1911s I put together, kind of first one I've ever kind of really built up like that. Now, that's where, to me, that mainspring housing in polymer came in handy, because I yanked so many of them off my other ones and just kept them in a box of them. Putting that in on that particular build was actually very important, because that's such a big chunk of steel that has a lot of weight to it, and the whole goal of that build was to make something lightweight. Now, same goes with the Ronin in the 9mm Commander lightweight frame. To make it even lighter, I actually removed the original mainspring housing, which is a completely steel part, and it weighs a good hefty chunk. I replaced it with a polymer mainspring housing, and it did lighten up the frame that much. I did notice the significant lightness, the weight it removed. So, and it didn't really, at first I almost felt like it affected recoil a little bit, but I don't really have enough trigger time on the thing to make any kind of sudden guesses on that, although I did run through my qualifications at work with it twice, and I actually scored a really high score without really much effort into putting with this thing. So all in all, Springfield Ronin 1911 Commander lightweight, E.B. Saint, I think you should really give that one a hard look. I really do. Not to try to push it, and I'm certainly not getting paid by Springfield, but give that one a hard look. I think it's worth it. I really do. So anyway, thanks guys. I'm going to wrap this one up, and thanks for tuning in.